Hello there, back for another quest. Of course you are. You know, there are a few different ways one could describe Street Fighter II, the animated motion picture. Unnecessary, convoluted, an animated adaptation of a video game, or even awesome as fuck. That's two negatives, one neutral, and one positive. And now I've become convoluted. Now, I am familiar with the Street Fighter video game series, but have never played Street Fighter II, only 4 and 5. Better wanting to familiarize myself with the history of this franchise, I watched this movie. Unfortunately, I learned absolutely nothing I didn't already know from my time with 4 and 5. This isn't the movie's fault, however. If I had to venture a guess, which I do, I'd say it was the lack of story in the original game. Fighting games from back then didn't have much story to begin with. In fact, this film essentially boils down to series footnotes like Ken and Ryu's past and relationship, and Bison being evil. Just evil. It also has a plot about Guile and Chun-Li tracking Bison, but that ends up being pointless by the end, with the exception of Guile removing that massive stick from his ass. And apart from the quote-unquote plot of this movie, it also just serves to shove a bunch of Street Fighter character cameos in front of you like Fei Long, Cammy, Honda, and Vega, probably to pad the runtime if I had to venture another guess. Another way they pad the runtime is by giving Ryu some silent meditation, and sometimes giving us, the audience, prolonged shots of nature scenery, like mountains. Yeah, I much prefer the cameos padding the runtime, to be honest, especially since the unique characters is one of the best things this film has going for it. Much like the games, and also much like the games, this film has exciting action sequences, and they are animated beautifully, just breathtaking. Seriously, don't blink during them because every frame is just pure golden honey, and you want every ounce of that honey in your mouth. None of it saved for later, crusting in your beard. I may not have walked away from this movie having learned more about Street Fighter, but I could appreciate it as a fan. It's a good popcorn flick, and it could be used to get newbies into the Street Fighter series as well. Just ignore the 2 in the title, though, because the first game probably didn't have very much story to begin with either. And in a lot of ways, this film reminds me of the Dragon Ball Z movies. Great action with characters you love. And honestly, that's more important. So ready your Hadoukens and your Shoryukens and Peep Pop Dukens and your Tom Pukins and your Dukes of Hazzard Countyians, and let's rate this bitch. I award this film with a 7 out of 10. Now, the film does kind of lack in the plot department, and when you think about how the story is just this big, ridiculous recruitment plan on Bison's part, it kind of gets worse just how ridiculous it all is. But it's fun, high octane, and has a kick-ass English soundtrack, and you know what? There's no shame in just being an enjoyable popcorn flick. Seek more adventure, guys, and I'll see you on the next quest for anime.